Hey guys, this is Bound here, and I'm gonna quickly go over my team that I use for Season 6 now. I really didn't like using the ruins, so I didn't want to use them, just because I didn't find them fun to use, but I'm gonna go over my team right now for Season 6. So, starting off with one of my favorite Pokemon, Ceruledge. I love it so much, the design is really cool, and I wanted to use it. Um, Now, it's attack and speed, Life Orb 1, and the goal of this is to break the Tinglu Dondozo pretty badly, because they won't expect the grass. And then it's actually been pretty good as a late game like cleaner with like the Life Orb Shadow Snake and the taunt, like beating the Garganicles 1v1 and stuff like that, because you just Terra Blast and stuff. And it's been pretty fun. You also like beat Volcarona pretty badly, which is why they don't really bring it in team preview or like in the match when they see this on team preview, so that's another good thing. And then yeah, so Adamant Nature, just highest attack power and flash fire. Weak armor is really good though, so I might try that later depending on what I want. But yeah, Hydreigon is the next one I'm using, and it's the specs one. Just Dark Pulse, Flash Cannon, Draco Meteor, Earth Power. I'm running Earth Power to delete Iron Moth and Magnezone really quickly, because those can be pretty problematic. I do have some other stuff that I can take it on, but I would usually lead Hydreigon a lot of times, and Earth Power would just one-shot the Moth, because usually they won't run like enough speed to outspeed me because I'm timid, and then they would just die. So that's really cool. And then other moves are just really solid for their own reasons. I'm running Terra Steel to check Dragonite and other stuff. Even though Dragonite can sometimes win because, you know, it gets a low kick and fire punch, and I've been running into that quite a bit, so I might just not use this because people are just adjusting, but we'll see. And then a Quaquaval, I don't know, however you want to say that. I really loved using this thing because it had the speed boosting, and with Moxie, which is really cool. So you have Aqua Jet, Counter, plus Combat, Aqua Step. I used to use Ice Spinner instead of Counter, but Dragonite was just too much of a problem. And like, I killed a few Tinglus in one shot because they would usually try to Fairy or Electric Terra and then try to kill me. But then I would have that counter, and that's like really the only reliable way to one-hit KO it, because it has too much HP. So that was pretty fun. But if they Thought Counter was coming, they can Ruination, and that doesn't really affect the counter. So that's unfortunate. And it's really hard to defeat Tinglu and Dragonite and Fluttermane and stuff like that, because they're just way too strong in a lot of areas. So I just did the best I can with it, really. And then Tigaton. Now I really like Tigaton for the beginning of the game because I use the Tigaton same set in Series 1. The funny thing is I got, so let me show you. So yeah, oh yeah, my final result was this. I did have the 3-digit ranking at the end, or before the last day of the season, but unfortunately I did crumble pretty badly. But I did get a really funny result in Season 1 because I used the Cobra Cloak. It was the same Tigaton, and the funny thing is I got like a funny win streak at the beginning of the Season 2 with Tigaton, and that was cool. I love that. But knockoff Swords Dance, Giga Hammer, Encore is really good because it deals with a lot of like the setup, like those slow setup stuff. I did run into like a few Glalie at the end of the season, and unfortunately I didn't win because they got speed boost with Moody, and then I couldn't just keep them in an Encore forever, so that sucked. But it's still really good. And Air Balloon is there because when I lead this versus the Tinglu, if they go for Ruination, I can Encore it into the Ruination, and then they're forced to switch, or I can Swords Dance. And sometimes I've caught switches with the Giga to Hammer. Like, I've caught a few hard Mimikyu switches for some reason, I don't know why, but they would just die in one hit. So it really comes down to just like predicting what they're going to do after the Encore, or even thinking if they're going to actually respect the Encore, which is, again, makes it really hard to pull off. But it was good, you know, it was good. The EVs are max attack, 4 HP, 24 defense, and 228 speed, I think, and 228 speed at speeds. max speed and annihilate, and then you just have a little bit of bulk in there. So that was fun. Swords Dance plus Gigaton Hammer would just 1-hit KO most Dragonites if they weren't running an Impish Nature with defense or whatever. So yeah, that was cool. And then, excuse me. So I really wanted to try out Bellabolt. I did use them in season 5, but I really wanted to keep using them because even though like he was really hard to use with all the Ting Lu and stuff, but he did force the Ting Lus to come out, and then I can basically just play it out from there. Because in Team Preview, you don't really want to just bring like Iron Bundle, Flutter Mane versus this thing, because it'll just find a way to win. But until they have Ting Lu, and that's when I can use my other stuff to beat it, like this or the Grass Terra. I can use it's hard to beat as always, but you know, I tried. I just tried. Mold Maker is really cool because you get to break through multi-scale, you get to break through disguise, you get to set up on unaware, which is really cool. But yeah, Dondozo was a big problem with the fissure and stuff, but knockoff was really good at getting rid of the leftovers, so it can't like just spam its stuff forever. But yeah, I really wanted to have knockoff and Will-O-Wisp to break the Dondozo loops and stuff, but sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, and that's just the nature of ranked. But Acid Spray, Terrablast Fairy, Volt Switch, and Parabolic Charge. Now the Terrablast Fairy, I might, like, if I use this again, I might just change the Terra type to something else. I don't know yet, but it was mainly for like, because I was really struggling versus Iron Hands and Roaring Moon and stuff like that. I still like cannot deal with Roaring Moon reliably, but you know, it did help if they didn't Terra, and they would just get blown back by this. Yeah, and then Acid Spray was really getting versus Calm Mind Pokemon, and then and Garganical specifically, because I could Acid Spray, and then the combination of Hydreigon plus the Acid Spray was really good in a lot of games, I feel like, to break through the bulky stuff. And then Volt Switch, another combination that I used was Volt Switch, a slow Volt Switch on a setup. Like, let's say a Golden Go clicks Sassy Plot in front of your Belly Bolt because they don't want to hit you. You can get the passive play, Volt Switch out, and then you get the Encore. So that was a cool thing that I wanted to try out, and it actually did work a lot of times. But again, these Pokemon are just really hard to pull off, and I might just need to build something more reliable next season. But yeah. And then the Dragapult I adopted at the beginning, or at the end of the season, at the final week, because I really hated like the amount of stall comps that I kept on running into with the Dondozo and all that. So I ran Substitute Dragon Darts, Will-O-Wisp, and Hex as the Naive Nature because it's a mixed attacker, which sounds really weird for a bulky Pokemon, but it doesn't really affect too much really. And yeah, so Fairy Terra. The reason why I went Fairy Terra is because of the Wo-Chien and other dragons were pretty troublesome, really. And and when I have Substitute with Fairy Terra, Wo-Chien can't really do anything unless it has Giga Drain. So I actually have something that can just straight up like lock up the game versus that thing, which is kind of cool. Because sometimes they were like Terra plus Leech Seed because they're scared of a U-turn, just like 1-hit KO in them or something. So that's when I get the advantage here. And then yeah, when you lead this versus a Assault team, there's pretty much nothing the opponent can do if you play it right, because it's just hard to deal with. So yeah, I really love this thing and how it helped my team, because it was also like just a general fast substitute user. So sometimes when you get like a substitute and then they switch into a Scarf, you can see if they're actually Scarf, and then you can play accordingly to that. So it was a cool little thing that I had for scouting teams. Although one switch into Garganical and you're screwed, one switch into Goldango and you're kind of screwed. So yeah, there's some problems, but that's when my other Pokemon can just come in and try to clean up. So yeah, I might just rebuild this team, or just rebuild a completely different team for season 7, because I don't really know like if this team is going to work anymore. Because I have been popping up on other people's streams, and they've been seeing my team, which is a little unfortunate, because that's just how like a lot of Japanese players will stream and then they see my stuff, and the viewers see my stuff, because I've had a few times where an Iron Hands would switch out against my Dragon Ball into like a fire type because they knew I had Will-O-Wisp. So it's like I probably need to just keep my stuff more like protective. I don't know, it's just weird. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I really loved using this team, and I hope to upload more videos, maybe going through my future teams and things like that. I'll probably stream later using my team and then in this team in the next season, just to get a feel for the meta and stuff. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that. See you next time.